לכל זמן, ועת לכל חפץ תחת השמיים, עת ללדת ועת למות, עת לטעת ועת לקור נטוע, עת להרוג ועת לרפוא, עת לפרוץ ועת לבנות, עת לבכות ועת לשחוק, עת ספוד ועת רקוד, עת להשליך אבנים ועת כנוס אבנים, עת לחבוק ועת לרחוק מחבק, עת לבקש ועת לאבד, עת לשמור ועת להשליך, עת לקרוא ועת לתפור, עת לחשות ועת לדבר, עת לאהוב ועת לשנוא, עת מלחמה ועת shalom. In the words of Ecclesiastes Kohelet, a season is set for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time for dancing and a time for wailing, a time for birthing and a time for dying, a time for speaking and a time for silence, a time for seeking and a time for losing. The time of mourning is a complicated time, filled with many emotions and memories. And as we begin our service with the recitation of psalms and prayers, we link Helen's life with the 3,000-year-old tradition of the people Israel and the eternity of God. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai mi'agor bo'olecha, Me'ishkon behar kodshecha, Holech tamim u'foel tzedek, V'dover emet bilvavo. Lo ragal al leshono, Lo asal rehu ra'ah, וחרפה לא נשא על קרבו. ניב זה בעיניו נמאס, ועת יראה אדוני יכבד. נשבע להרע ולא ימיר, כספו לא נתן בנשק ושוחד. על נקי לא לקח, עושה אלה לא ימות לעולם. Psalm of David. Do we deserve to enter God's sanctuary? Can we merit a place in the presence of God? Live with integrity and do what is right. Speak the truth without deceit. Have no slander upon your tongue and do no evil to others. Do not mistreat your neighbor. Spurn a contemptible person, but honor those who revere Adonai. Never retract a promise once made, though it may bring you harm. Lend no money at unfair rates and accept no bribe against the innocent. Make these deeds your own, then shall you stand firm forever. Talmid chachamim מת, מי מביא לנו תמורתו? כי יש לה כסף מוצא ומקום לזהב יזוקו. בהר זה לעפר יוקח, ואבן יצוק נחושה. מחווה מאין תימצא, ואיזה מקום בינה. תלמידה חכמה מת, מי מביא לנו תמורתה? There is no replacing a person of wisdom. There are mines for silver, and places where gold is refined. where iron is taken from the earth and copper is smelted from the rock. But where can wisdom be found? And where is the source of understanding? Indeed, there is no replacing a person of wisdom. Talk a little bit later, but it is traditional to recite the last chapter of the book of Mishle, the book of Proverbs, which is Eshet Chayil. It's in an acrostic. It starts with the Aleph and ends with Ta, the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and is the praise that we give to women, to mothers and spouses, to grandmothers and great-grandmothers, Eshet Chayil. Eshet Chayil nimtza v'rachok mipnimi michra, batach balev bala v'shala lo yachsar, gemalat hu tov v'lo ra, kol yemei chayeha. Kapa parsa le'oni v'yadeh shilcha le'evyon, Oz v'hadar levusha, v'tischach li'om macharon. Piha potcha b'chochma, v'torat chesed al-leshona, Tzofia halichot, beita v'lechem atzlut lo tochel. Kamu v'neha v'ashruha, v'ala Rabot banot asu chayil, v'yatalit al kulana. Sheker ha'chein ve'vel ha'yofi, Isa yirat Adonai, tiv halal, tenula mipri yadeha, v'chalaluha basharim, maseha. What a precious find is an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks no good thing. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. She opens her hand to the needy. She extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with splendor and strength. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household, and she never eats the bread of idleness. Her children come forward and bless her. Her husband praises her. Many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty vain, but a God-revering woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand, and wherever people gather, her deeds speak her praise. I'd like to invite Renee.
You don't really know the impact one made on lives of others outside your immediate family until this happens. I don't have a very good memory, so now as the stories and reminders are coming in from far and wide, there's some of the message I've received over the last few days. Somebody said, I will remember her always with great affection and admiration. She had an influence on my life as well. I always admired the kind of mom she was and wanted to be the same with my kids. She certainly was a courageous, take charge, and formidable woman, very much ahead of her time. We've been lucky to have her in our lives. She is an extraordinary woman. Your mom is a beautiful woman with a beautiful mind. Your mom was a terrific lady and will be missed. Helen is a special person and was so good to my mom. Your mom is an inspiration to us all. The holidays at your mom's hold some of my favorite memories. She was well ahead of her time in many respects, a brave, colorful, and inspiring character who made an indelible impression on others. She was so special, so kind, witty, and caring. Your mother had a positive impact on so many people and was very much loved by all of us. May your loving and magnificent mom and our dear friend and loving aunt rest in peace. We adored her and had a special bond. We will cherish our wonderful family memories we had with your mom. She had such strength right to her last breath. It was all she knew. She lived on her terms. She lives on in the values and memories of those whom she loved and who loved her. May her memory be an abiding blessing. My mom was my role model. She faced some huge challenges over the course of her 89-plus years. But through it all, she was always positive, resulting in a good, long life. She loved classical music, especially opera. She loved to travel the world and always continued learning. Despite her failing eyesight over recent years, she spent many hours every day with her Kindle set on a very large font so she could continue reading. There were her 5 grandchildren and 4 grandspouses that she adored and was so proud of, and the 2 great-grandsons, the littlest one, who's here now, having visited in hospice just a few days ago. By that time, she wasn't responding very much anymore, but she responded to him. I think it's fitting that she closed her life near the end of the Jewish year and did not go forward to start all over in a new year. Yesterday morning, I was reading an article in Hakol, the local Jewish newspaper here in the Lehigh Valley, and the article was titled, "This Yom Kippur, try confessing the good things you have done." So I'm paraphrasing, but my mom exemplified these confessions. She loved, she blessed, she grew, she spoke positively. She raised up, she showed compassion, she acted enthusiastically. She was empathetic, she cultivated truth. She had given good advice. She was respected. She learned. She was forgiven. She was comforted. She was creative. She stirred. She was a spiritual activist. She was just. She longed for Israel. She was merciful. She gave full effort. She supported, she contributed, she repaired. No matter how you knew her or how long you knew her, Jeff and I and the rest of the family thank you all for coming and being part of her life. Shalom.
During the season, each night as we lead up to Rosh Hashanah, through the entire, holidays, including after Yom Kippur through, I believe, Shmini Atzeret, we recite Psalm 27. It's actually one of my favorite psalms, but I'd like to read a little bit of it because I think in many ways Helen's life reflects so much of what it speaks of. It's a Psalm of David. The Lord is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I dread? When evildoers read challenges, draw near to slander me, when foes threaten, they stumble and fall. Though armies be arrayed against me, I have no fear. Though wars threaten, I remain steadfast in my faith. One thing I ask of the Lord, and for this do I yearn, to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold his beauty and to pray in his sanctuary. He will hide me in his shrine, safe from peril. He will shelter me beyond the reach of disaster. He will raise my head high above my enemies' challenges. I will bring him offerings with shouts of joy, singing, chanting praise to the Lord. Oh, hear my voice when I call. Be gracious to me and answer. It is you that I seek, says my heart. It is your presence that I seek, O Lord. Hide not from me. Reject not your servant. You have always been my help. Do not abandon me. Forsake me not, my God of deliverance. Though my father and mother leave me, the Lord will care for me. Teach me your way, O Lord, and guide me on the right path, to confound those who would oppress me. Abandon me not to the will of my foes. As false witnesses have risen against me, people who breathe out lies, mine is the faith that I shall surely see the Lord's goodness in the land of the living. Hope in the Lord and be strong. Take courage and hope in the Lord. Helen Ebert's life began in Frankfurt, Germany, 1928. And her father, Paul, and mother, Martha, of blessed memory, owned a store in Frankfurt. But as you know, the Nazis had come to power in the 30s, and life became literally unbearable. They managed to be able to leave Germany accordingly as they left, maybe even a trip possibly to Italy along the way, a little family vacation, but made their way to Palestine. And at the age of, I believe, 10 years old, 1938, she arrives in Palestine, and her parents begin again. And Helen, while learning as well in Palestine, which would become Israel, but not yet, not quite yet, learned how to sew. And when in 1948, right actually before, in February 1948, the family was able to join other relatives in the United States. They came through, and it was right before, the State of Israel's May 48, but they arrived in America in February of that year. But Israel always played an important part for Helen. It was, she loved Hebrew, and even later on she would join Hebrew clubs so she could keep her Hebrew up. But a little bit more about that in a minute. Arrived and went up to Washington Heights, and Washington Heights at the time was home to a community of German Jews, many of them refugees from the Holocaust. And there, her parents started, they started a store in Port Chester, but she would work and just help support the family, and she did her part. She was always a hard worker, and she believed very much in what it meant to use your hands, but also to use your mind. Her and her sister Ruth, and later husband Manny of blessed memory, grew up in Washington Heights. And she was active in her synagogue, her family. It was very important. But they would often, as young, teenagers, have clubs of, again, German Jews who were refugees, and there she met the love of her life, Paul. They were married in 1950, and they moved to Teaneck, New Jersey, where Paul's family had started, a paper business. And they set up home. And they used to love to ski and to take vacations at the lake and to see and experience the country wherever they could, whether it was literally driving down to Florida or up to New Hampshire. The beauty of spending time with friends, of having family close. This was important to Helen all of her life. When tragedy struck, after being married for 13 years, Paul passed. And I think for someone that maybe wasn't like Helen, their life would have maybe been so crushed that they lived in a state of darkness. But not Helen. She was positive, she worked through, she raised and knew that her children deserved to be cared for in a life, and she gave them everything she had. She gave. Out of love, and what she believed was always to show that light, to be positive, not to complain, not to dwell on what had occurred, but to how to step forward and live every day with a sense of blessing and a sense of meaning and a sense of purpose. Helen's life was filled with that. She raised her family with values of what that hard work and what education could mean. Even as she worked sewing dresses and making tailoring repairs, she had the goal of going back to school. So she earned her associate's degree first at Bergen Community College, and then from there, that wasn't enough. She wanted to be an X-ray technician, which she did. Then she got her bachelor's degree at Montclair State. She was a member of the New Milford Jewish Center and spent her time not only there, but swimming laps at the Y, because being healthy and physical, she could swim. And even Renee and Jeff were telling me recently, when I swam 6 laps, because being fit, and she loved water, and swimming in particular, but the mind and the body together. Throughout her life, she wanted to make sure that Jeff and Marie and Renee could experience some of the joys. So sometimes recreating those trips that she took with Paul of blessed memory, driving physically down to Florida, driving up to New Hampshire, up to Massachusetts, driving to the lake. These moments she wouldn't miss and didn't want anyone to miss. Never wallowing, always striving, always growing. She had an indomitable spirit. The word I think that we would use, frankly, is one that was echoed as well, but Helen was amazing what she could do. She loved her kids' friends, and the house became a place where Jeff and Renee's friends could come, even to do repairs together by breaking up the kitchen floor. Everyone gets a hammer and a chisel. She did it all. She helped teach Jeff, Marie, and Renee, that working together, that independence, fierce independence, but yet also recognizing that you can bring people together and get what needs to be done in the right way. As was mentioned, she loved music, and she filled her home with music. She loved the opera most of all. Learning and life together led to many blessings because she was persistent, indomitable of spirit. She was blessed with Alex, Patterson, Leah and Michael, Melissa and Graham, Paul and Kristen, and Emily. Her grandchildren. That she always made time to make sure she was at those graduations. Whether she was in Seattle with her companion Walter, she made sure she was there. Her love and pride for you was unmeasurable. And you, great-grandchildren, Miles and Zephyr. Helen's spirit is like that psalm. No fear, light, faith. At Brit Shalom, I got to know Helen, and it was a blessing. She kept me company up on the bima. You see, on the bima where we are, for whatever reason, people, I think, are afraid that I'm going to call on them at any moment to do something in the service, so they don't sit in that sort of right side close. Helen's reason wasn't to sit there merely to be close to the pulpit, but because the sunlight, the light, would shine through, and she was always cold, and it would warm her. But I will tell you this, there wasn't a time when she sat there that I wouldn't make it a priority to go over, because I so loved that she was right there. That was her makom kavua, her spiritual place. She always had a smile, never complained, even through pain and through all of her life's ups and downs. Overall, I would tell you that she would say it was a good life. The blessings that sit here today made it so. She persevered and made it so. She was Oma. She always will be. The Lord is my light, whom shall I fear? Take courage, hope in the Lord, be strong, and take courage. Helen Ebert, Hela Hadassah Bat Pinchas Halevi, was such a woman of courage. Truly an Eshet Chayil who managed the affairs of her house, who raised a family, who lived life to the fullest and found love and gave love, who believed in learning, who believed in hard work, who believed in the beauty of music and opera and art, who every day felt, whenever she could, to come to the synagogue, to see her friends, her family of faith and community. May her memory serve as that blessing and an inspiration in this time and season, but for the family and friends for all time. When we think of Helen, we think of the beautiful person, the amazing person that she was, and the gifts that she has left as a legacy into God's eternal embrace, with El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein B'meromim, Amtzei Menucha Nefona, Tachat Kanefei HaShechina, B'malot Kedoshim Utorim, Kizahar Harakia Mazhirim, Et Nishmat El Hadassah B'Pinchas HaLevi, She'alecha Le'olama, Began Eden Tehei Menuchata, Ana Bal Rachamim, Hastireha B'Seiter Kenafecha L'Olamim, Utzor B'Tzor HaChaim Et Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachalata, V'tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava, V'nomar Amen. El Malei Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Helen Ebert, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved ones find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life, and may she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. So a couple of announcements. The interment will take place in Cedar Park Cemetery in Paramus, which will follow. Shiva tonight will be at 7 p.m. At Renee's home. The address is 2276 Wassergass Road in Hellertown. I think that's printed, and we can certainly get people there. Be led by my colleague and friend, Rabbi Davis. Now I'd like to invite the pallbearers to please step forward. Grandchildren, come forward. As we begin the process of escorting Helen to her final resting place, we call a Jewish funeral a levaya, which means to accompany, and that is what we're going to do to the 23rd Psalm. Mizmor leDavid. Adonai roi